What up, people? I mean, alright, so like I've been up for a long time, and I come across this, I'm just reading, right, and I come across this article about the Atari box, and I had heard something about the Atari box before. Let me move this. Bam. I had heard something about the Atari box before, and to me, I thought the Atari box was just gonna be like, I thought it was gonna be a console, like kind of like the SNES Mini or the, I mean, what, the NES Mini or like a Sega Genesis type, you know, one of those games that, or those consoles that come collected, like with a collection of games. And with the Atari box, you know, they announced it. I'm not kidding, I didn't pay much attention to it. I just thought like, oh yeah, Atari, you know, they're releasing a thing with 2600 games. Granted, that's awesome, but it's just like, I can just pull out my Atari 2600 and just play my games on there. I mean, like, you know, I don't really have any use for it. You know, I mean, I that's what I thought. That's what I thought. But I mean, I didn't know what it was gonna look like or anything. And I saw this, I guess, this trailer, and they revealed the design. Atari revealed the design. And by the way, I thought Atari was bankrupt, but I guess they're not anymore. I thought they were. And they released the design, and oh my god, like that console, it has been one of the best looking consoles we've gotten in a long time. Like, that console looks so beautiful, and that caught my attention. I'm like, alright, so let me look more into this. And I started reading about it, and then they start talking about the consoles that is going to have like 4 USB ports and an SD card. And when I heard about the SD card, you know, when I was digging through this information, I'm just kind of like, why do you need an SD card? It's an Atari, you know, an Atari box. I thought it was just gonna be a collection of games. So I did a little more digging, and I went through a bunch of articles, and then I come across this article saying that they're gonna release the Atari 26, or not the 2600, the Atari box with old games, and then but the Atari box is gonna be able to support modern games. Now, that caught my attention because I'm thinking like, alright, modern games can mean a lot of things, because the Atari box, when I look at the console, it doesn't look powerful. It doesn't at all, but it looks beautiful. But I don't know how big that console is going to be. It looks legit, the console looks like it's going to be as big as a Wii U, pretty much. If not, maybe a little bigger, but it's just, it doesn't look like that big of a console. But apparently it's supposed to be returned to the home console for Atari, and you know, so it got me interested. So I did a little more digging, and I came across an article. I'm going to go ahead and read you this article. First 2 paragraphs, you know, like as always, links are in the description below, guys. If you guys want to read along, or you just want to say, hey, you know, I'm tired of watching you, I'm going to go read this article. So go ahead and read the article. Here it is. Anyways, Atari, in the hope of emulating the success of the Nintendo's Mini NES and Mini SNES, has unveiled the Atari box, a modern console inspired by the legendary Atari 2600, which of course was released in 1977. I wasn't even thought of at that time. While technical details on the Atari box are slim, Atari, or at least the company that now goes by the Atari name after the original Atari went bankrupt in 2013, there you go, has revealed that the console will come in both red and black wood editions, the latter paying homage to the 1977 original. Now, if it's coming with 2 editions, if it's coming out, I'm getting both editions. And I said I was going to read both paragraphs, but you know what, I'm going to just read the entire article. Let's do it. So, Atari, in a newsletter to fans, promised that the Atari box will feature SD card support, an HDMI port, and 4 USB ports. A teaser image also shows an Ethernet port. And see, when I heard about those specs and I saw the box, you know, and everything, it's just like, alright, you know, why do you need an Ethernet port? You know, it's one of those things, like I said, I did not pay attention to the Atari box, so if you know all about this stuff, then, I mean, I'm just finding this out for the first time, and I'm just kind of giving my thoughts on it. So, in a deviation from the emulation-based retro games of the Mini NES and this SNES, it added the Atari box will play classic and current games. Now, that part is what really gets me. You're saying current games. I'm thinking, okay, look, they can't mean games like the Xbox One or PlayStation 4. If they mean that, I feel like Atari needs to come out with some kind of, I don't know, like, in my mind, I'm still kind of in shock, because it's like, okay, The last console I owned that was an Atari console, or like, you know, the one I owned as a kid was an Atari Jaguar, and not really that game didn't, or that console. I don't remember having a lot of memories with that console, and with Atari coming out with a new console, and it just kind of jumping back into the market, it's just, we haven't seen a console really jump back into the console wars at all. Once the console wars have, like, you know, right now the console wars that are even taking place, it's like PC, Nintendo, PS4, Xbox. I mean, that's who you got right now. And then you have a fifth guy that's going to be joining. Back in the day, I guess that was regular, but it's really odd to see it kind of happen today. And just, I want to know what kind of punches Atari's going to be coming out with, because really that's all we have. That's all the information we have. We don't have no specs. We don't know what kind of CPU chips they're going to be using, what kind of branded chips or whatever. We don't know what's powering this console. We don't know how big this console is. From the look of it or the picture, to me it doesn't look that much bigger than an Atari 2600, but it looks like a fantastic console. It actually looks like it could be a home console. It's like, okay, here's my idea. If this Atari box, if they were saying that it's going to play current games, if they're going to say that it's going to play classic games, I'm thinking it could be something close to like a Steam box, or like something that you can connect to the Ethernet. If it's connected to Steam somehow, or something like where you can download games, or maybe Atari is going to launch its own software on the Atari box, you know, where it's all digital. Because from what I was reading, there was nothing saying that there's going to be any physical released games, so there's nothing talking about like no disc-based games. If there's an SD card slot, I'm thinking maybe are they going to go with the cartridge-based things like the Switch or something. Or are they just going to say, like, here's your SD card, you can download games on a computer, play it on the Atari box, or you're going to be able to download games from the Atari box, you know, website or whatever that they have, the home, on the TV from the Atari box. Are you going to be able to, like, is Atari going to have its own separate digital store? It's probably going to be all digital, that's what I'm thinking. But this is fantastic. I don't know why, but this is something I want to get. Like, it got me to turn ahead. I'm just like, whoa, Atari is coming out with a new console. I want to know, what's it going to support? Is it going to be able to play games like Call of Duty or Destiny 2? Or is it going to be able to play games like, I mean, like, we see a lot of the Steam games like, what is that, Battlegrounds? Maybe, I don't know. I want to know how powerful it, really, isn't it, to me it doesn't matter how powerful the console is, but I want to know what it's going to be able to do. Granted, we don't have no information right now, so, I mean, we can only dream and wait until Atari kind of announces, like, hey, this is what it has, this is what we're going to be able to do, that type of stuff. But Atari did announce that, yeah, they're going to be coming out with new games for the console, so there's going to be brand new games. So, hopefully we'll be able to see some really, we're probably going to see a lot of exclusives on the Atari box. I mean, that's going to be fantastic. The article goes on to read that, so as you can guess, Atari said, this is a company, those ports suggest modern internal specs. So we're talking about modern internal specs, so I can only think that it can't be no less than the Xbox One or PlayStation 4 specs, whatever those were. Which, if that's it, then man, it's going to be one expensive console, because the price still hasn't been announced yet. Let's see, whether that means your Atari box will play modern PC games, in which case it won't be cheap, or modern mobile games, which it says here modern mobile games, so to me that kind of, like, I'm thinking, okay, it probably might be modern mobile games, but to me, there can't be, there's no way that it can be modern mobile games, because really, if it's the Atari box, the way it looks like it's going to pack a way bigger punch than, like, just your processor on your phone, you know? So information on pricing, release dates, game content, and even full specs aren't on the cards right now. We know you are hungry for more details on specs, games, pricing, and timing, the company said. We're not teasing you intentionally. We want to get this right, so we've opted to share things step by step as we bring this to life, and listen closely to the Atari community feedback as we do so. Creating a console that plays both retro games and more modern titles, even if they turn out to be Android based, is certainly a ballsy move, given the failure of most micro consoles. The Mini NES succeeded in part due to its simplicity and cheap price, both of which would be difficult for a capable console. Atari's last official console, the ill-fated Atari Jaguar, yeah, that was the one I owned, was marketed as a first 64-bit console at a time when consoles had only just gone 32-bit. Unfortunately, the extra horsepower wasn't enough to shift units, and the company reportedly only sold a few 100,000. Only a few 100,000. Dang. I don't know where my Atari Jaguar is now. I'm kind of like wondering. I probably should go digging through my boxes. But I mean, this is exciting for Atari. I mean, granted, it's a new company that's taking the Atari name, but if they want to get this thing right and they want to do justice to the Atari name, then take their time. They can take all the time they want. I don't mind. I'm not pushing for it to be released next year or anything. If it's something that's going to take time and they want to get it right, they want it to support modern games. If you're talking like modern games on the PC, maybe games you see that are like released on Steam, or like modern games that they want to compete with the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and the Switch, hey, take all the time you need. I mean, I'm all for it. If Atari's going to jump back into the console wars and everything, me personally, I'm thinking go all for it. But if it's something that, if Atari Box is going to be all digital, we could see a bigger push to digital content, like something we've never seen before. Because, I mean, hey, no physical games. I mean, all I can think is that they're going to go digital. I mean, that's really the only way they can go, if they're not going to have any like disc, you know, what disc readers or anything. I can't even think right now. I've been working so hard, but I mean, hey, that's exciting. Hey, but wouldn't it be cool, like, if, like, when you got your Atari box or something, and you open the box, it comes with a free Atari 2600 game, specifically E.T. I mean, that'd be funny, because they found that landfill in Arizona or whatever. I think it was Arizona or New Mexico, with hundreds of E.T. boxes from the 2600. And what if they just packaged, like, one E.T. cartridge in every Atari box? That'd be freaking hilarious. Like, kind of, you know, just kind of smack in the face, just kind of like, you remember that time where we almost destroyed all the console gaming? It's right there in the box with you. But anyways, hey guys, I'm pretty excited about the Atari box. I mean, like I said, there's not a lot of information right now. I'll try to link as many articles as I can below. But really, all the articles are really just talking about just, hey, this is what it looks like and anything, you know, and all that stuff. And it's just like, to me personally, it looks like a fantastic, like, it looks really beautiful. It's a beautiful console. It looks way better than any of the consoles that are released right now. But I mean, hey, it looks good. It has 4 USB ports, HDMI, Ethernet cable, hopefully some Wi-Fi, and maybe some accounts that you can create on there that you can buy stuff from the Atari store, whatever they're going to call it. But like I said, Atari, I just hope that they take their time, and I hope it gets released and it's really successful. I hope it's good. I want to see some really great exclusives on there, which we probably will. Maybe some classics, maybe like Pitfall. Remember Pitfall? Space Invaders. I played those games, legit. I did play those games when I was a kid. I wasn't around during the 70s, but my dad had a Atari. Was it my dad? My uncle? I can't remember. It was a long time ago. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any comments or anything, remember, comment below. Do a video. If you have a video talking about the Atari, if you have any more news on the Atari, let me know. I mean, I want to know about this thing. It's just, I am, as you can tell by my face, I'm almost dead. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, upvote if you're watching on Vidme. Hey, you know, and remember, guys, when you guys are gaming, power up.